been something besides boys. We just didn't have this. Something's going to get us in the end.
Betty's in daycare right now.
Oh, really? Does he like it?
He doesn't like it. He loves it.
Right.
That's his favorite place besides playing ball toys. Oh,
Are
and
there are a lot of other dogs there?
they're like 100 dogs.
You're kidding.
No.
Where is this place?
It is in Southeastern.
Oh my God. And there are 100 dogs there?
And yeah, they put like small dogs together, older dogs, like low energy, and bigger dogs with lots of energy, or puppies.
I saw that.
Wow.
Yeah, so
And how long is he there for?
yeah, I'll pick him up at 3 and just drop him at 10. Sometimes just for 4 or 5 hours. He comes home, he eats his lunch or dinner, and then he sleeps. And when he's ready,
He's worn out.
like a kid.
What a life.
Yeah,
Eat and sleep, play.
yeah. I learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
He always connects with nature and rolls, with the grass.
Isn't that funny?
And he,
Good morning. My name is Beth Manchester Howell, and I am your lay leader for today's worship service. I warmly welcome you to First Parish Unitarian Universalist of Bridgewater. I've been a member here for over 25 years, and I serve on the worship committee and the parish committee. And what I love about this church is that you are all my people. No matter how hard my week is, I know that on Sunday morning, I can come here and be held in the love of this community. Thank you all for that. This morning, we are happy to welcome our guest speakers, Sarah Gilbert and Lindsay Rooney, the directors of the Fernbrook Nature School. Before we begin our time of worship, I do have some announcements to share, or more specifically, some leaders in our congregation have some announcements to share. So first, I'd like to call up Betty.
As you probably noticed in the order of service, our memorial service for Gordon Hatfield is this Saturday at 11. We are responsible for a collation after the service. So if any of you have not already spoken to me, and thank you to those who have, but if you would like to make some kind of a donation for that, please see me at coffee hour afterwards. Thank you. Thanks, Beth.
Thank you, Betty, and thank you for organizing that part of our service. And Desiree?
Like I mentioned last Sunday, the First Parish Players are hosting a fundraiser at Barrett's Ale House on Tuesday, April 30th. I have tickets today. I forgot them last Sunday, so I have tickets if you want them. But Betty was also so nice to email everyone digital tickets as well, so you can always print your own. But again, they're good for dine-in, takeout, gift card purchases, any purchase through them all day, which is awesome. So you come see me after the service if you want a ticket.
Thank you so much, Desiree. First Parish is a welcoming congregation. We proudly fly the rainbow flag to symbolize our welcome to people of all identities, ages, and backgrounds. If you are new to First Parish, we hope you will enjoy your experience this morning. We encourage you all to fill out the guest book at the table at the rear of the sanctuary, making sure to include your email address to receive church updates. For newcomers joining online, please see the sign-up link that is posted in the chat. We invite all who are here in person to join us after the service for fellowship in the parish hall. This service is being hosted via Zoom and recorded for Bridgewater cable TV. The camera is turned off during the sharing of joys and sorrows to protect your privacy. In the event of an emergency or an evacuation drill, please leave the building through the main sanctuary doors, or should you need a ramp, through the School Street entrance to my left. You are welcome here. Thank you for joining us. Your presence makes a difference. We will now begin our worship with the prelude. Please join us in our chalice lighting words.
We light our chalice to mark this sacred hour, as we gather in this beautiful Lord's church sanctuary, both in body and spirit. We connect to the many generations that have come here to explore the divine. Let us join our hearts and find the holy in our relationship to each other. It is time to share worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit to join our voices in the affirmation of our covenant.
Love is the spirit of the church, and service is the gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak the truth in love, and to help one another.
Our opening words are from ecologist Baba Dayum. In the end, we will conserve only what we love. We will love only what we understand, and we will understand only what we are taught. We gather today to express our deep devotion to all life and to recommit to protecting what we love. Please join in singing our opening hymn, number 38, Morning Has Broken, and we will do 3 verses.
Now is the time in our service where we share joys and sorrows, those matters of great personal significance that touch us, our families, and the ones that we love. If you have a joy or a sorrow, please come to the front of the church to light a candle. If you would like to speak, please leave your sharing short so that the ritual moves smoothly. You may choose to also light a candle in silence. Online participants are invited to share their joys and sorrows in the chat, and a volunteer in the sanctuary will read them out loud. Today's prayer was written by the Reverend Kelly Dignam, slightly adapted from what was shared in Side with Love's 30 Days of Love in 2024. Please join me in prayer. In the presence of the boundless mysteries of the cosmos, we gather together in deep gratitude and awe. We give thanks for the unfolding wonders of the world, the intricate dance of ecosystems, the resilience of life, and the profound interconnectedness that weaves through the tapestry of existence. As we marvel at the grandeur of the universe, we humbly recognize our place within this cosmic symphony. Grant us the wisdom to embrace a deep love and reverence for the earth, our shared home. May we return to ancient practices of reciprocity and mutuality as we recognize the inherent value of every creature, every ecosystem, and every delicate balance that sustains life. We acknowledge the urgent call for the Earth's care and for climate justice. Help us imagine a future of flourishing for all. Align our actions with the rhythms of nature and the principles of justice. Grant us the courage to confront the challenges of our time with compassion, seeking justice for those most affected by environmental degradation. In this shared journey, may we be guided by love and the sacred energy that unites us all. May we embody the principles of care, gratitude, and a profound love for the intricate web of life. Amen. Each Sunday, we collect an offering to support the ministries of this church and our mission in the community. We choose an organization that shares our faith values. This month, the contributions from our plate are being shared with Kids to Camp, as part of our environmental justice initiative. Your generosity enables deserving children to attend the Sheep Pasture Nature Camp, a 154-acre farm property which provides a perfect outdoor lab for learning about the environment and the importance of protecting it. You may also donate online through the First Parish Church's website. This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received. Thank you for your generosity, and thank you, Denise. Please stand in body and spirit and we'll join our voices, we will join in our next hymn, number 163, For the Earth Forever Turning.
Good morning. And how are the children? This question was referenced in a recent Sunday service. In these days of screens, school, and scheduling, the truth of our answer to the question might be, the children are not so well. Children nowadays often spend less time outside just being kids. Naturalist E.O. Wilson noted that we humans have an innate emotional affiliation to all living things. Attuning to nature, he said, is an evolutionary trait. Yet, in recent years, there has arisen a disconnect from the natural world. If we expect our children to grow up physically and emotionally healthy and with respect for our planet Earth, we must again emphasize our relationship to the Earth and all it encompasses. On a cold, drizzly day in March, the Green Sanctuary team had the pleasure of visiting Fernbrook Nature School in Middleborough. Two small groups of children, bundled up against the weather, but seemingly oblivious to it, were enjoying their classes outside with their teachers. Our guest speaker, Sarah Gilbert, will present an overview of the philosophy and mission of Fernbrook Nature School to educate children to be caring, competent, environmentally aware citizens of the future. Sarah is the early preschool lead teacher at Fernbrook Nature School, working with the youngest children, who are 2 to 3 years old. Her warm disposition and ability to form strong connections make her a favorite among the Fernbrook students. She has years of special education teaching experience working with children with autism in the early childhood setting. Sarah holds her undergraduate degree in psychology and has completed graduate coursework in special education. In addition, she is certified in children's yoga. Please join me in welcoming Sarah Gilbert.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. Is it okay if I actually use one of these microphones instead? Okay. You ready for the slideshow? Okay. Just so I don't have to keep turning and you guys don't have my back half of the time. So, we are from Fernbrook. We are 15 acres in Middleborough. We work with ages 2 to 6 years old. Our program is mostly outdoors in all types of weather. The land that we work on is forest land. It is wetland and also a meadow. This is our second year in operation. We opened August 2022. We had 19 children at that time, and it was a full-day program. We started with 4 lead teachers, and we added an additional teacher later that year. This year, we actually can hold up to 28 students, and we offer half-day and full-day programming. Our mission. So at Fernbrook, we view ourselves more as guides than as teachers. We really want to foster and encourage children's natural curiosity for their environment and the world around them, and let them lead in that learning. We really hold the importance of fostering their social skills, their emotional development, communication. We encourage risk-taking. We believe that all of these things together is what's going to help these children become future leaders later. Our philosophy. We believe that young children learn best through play and through child-led inquiry. We use a combination of Reggio Emilia project-based learning and also Waldorf play to learn as our philosophies when we're thinking about how we're working with the students. We really strongly believe that the children, when they lead in this way and we follow them as their guide and they access all of this information and exploration through play, is going to be their best way of having it resonate for them. Our land acknowledgement. So at Fernbrook, we all have a deep reverence and acknowledgement for the fact that the land that we work and learn and play on is the unceded territory of the Wampanoag people, and they stewarded this land for generations before us. So this is our team, our wonderful director, Lindsay, and her wonderful children. She is a lead preschool teacher, our director and owner. Her husband, Kevin, is the co-owner. He's also a registered nurse, and he comes in and helps facilitate a lot of our larger projects with the students, building, gardening, and that type of stuff. Chris and Kelly are our pre-K teachers, and Bella also co-teaches with Lindsay and I for our younger students. Here's some examples of just the fun that we all get to have with these kids each day. Lindsay reading, me doing yoga, Bella guiding some of our younger students through risky play, Kevin working with some of the younger students. Chris is there with the 2 little friends in yellow, and Kelly explaining some stuff to our older students. So, why connect with nature? And this really lends into the 7th principle of interconnectedness. Why are we doing this? If you haven't had the chance to do research or look into any of Richard Lou's work, we highly recommend it. One of his quotes is, "The health of the earth is at stake. How young people respond to nature and how they raise their own children will shape the configurations and conditions of our cities, homes, and our daily lives. This is just a typical Monday morning at Fernbrook and what the kids kind of get into. So quite often what we will do as teachers is we'll set up invitations for play. So sensory tables with different objects, things that they've shown an interest in. You can see them playing with some of the farm animals. And then at that point, we just kind of step back. We facilitate the social skills and the emotional health, and then we kind of let them guide where we go forward. These are our major components of what we do here. Social emotional health, paramount. We all know and recognize right now that kids are really going through a hard time with mental health. We really believe that being outside in nature, we have a very small student to teacher ratio, which really helps for us to be right there with the kids, supporting them. Healthy risk taking. We love climbing trees at Fernbrook. Play-based learning, like I had mentioned, emergent curriculum, which we'll talk about a little bit more, and environmental literacy and stewardship. So what is risky play? Risky play, high, fast, and rough and tumble. So yes, we let our kids climb trees and jump off big rocks, and we let them run down hills really, really fast. We let them slide down hills really, really fast. We let them play with sticks. We let them hit sticks together. The research behind risky play is fascinating if this interests you, and I highly encourage you to look more into it. It is so paramount in helping children regulate themselves, learning that skill, building resiliency, executive functioning, understanding when I should stop, when I should pull back, when I can keep going, when I should check in with my friends. There's so many things happening in this type of play, peer-to-peer and to themselves, right? So how do we keep them safe? There's always a risk of getting hurt, but they seldom do. I think we maybe go through a package of Band-Aids through the whole year, and most of that is just because they like Band-Aids. We're always there with them. We're supporting them, we're talking them through it, we're asking them to check in with themselves. Does that feel safe for you? Where are you gonna put your foot next? How do you plan to get down? We don't help them climb in a physical way. We check in. Do you feel ready for this yet? Does your body feel like you're okay with this? Well, maybe just not today. I had a student last week who was jumping off one of the big rocks, and he just wasn't clearing it as well as he probably should safely. So we got a crate, and he practiced jumping down off the crate instead while he built that skill. So we do believe that this is one of the best things for them with a decision-making process. It enables them a certain amount of autonomy to say, I feel comfortable with this and I want to do this. Or, I'm just not ready for that yet, and that's okay. This is risky play. We sled. And when you're seeing this, this is all stuff that the children have used these parts to build themselves. when they're building these structures, and the teamwork and the cooperation, the communication skills, the patience, the sharing. How do we do this? Even with climbing trees. A child will be up in a tree, that's the rock. They'll be in the tree and it looks wonderful and fun and great, and now 5 children want to also climb that same tree. So how do we figure out that process? So something as simple as climbing a tree, something as simple as learning to wait in line. This is such a wonderful way to learn to wait in line, to then jump off of something really fun afterwards. Didn't slide as well as he thought it would. Yes, mud. We have found at Fernbrook that mud works just as well for sledding and sliding as snow and ice does. It's fun for the teachers when we have to help them get undressed later, yay. Emergent curriculum. So this is what we mean by child-led inquiry. We might bring up a topic of exploration. We have been doing a lot of talking about birds lately. We'll bring in books, we'll bring in stories, but really at this point, we sit back and we let them show us where their curiosity is leaning towards. Are they interested in nest building? Are they interested in what the eggs look like and what the babies look like? And we start to kind of bring our learning and the information with them where they're most interested in. We ask big questions at a starting point. So we'll introduce things by having a sensory table open with some items in it. We'll have a book read. And then we work with lots of different materials. So nonfiction storytelling, fiction storytelling, nonfiction textbooks, field guides with really beautiful pictures, and then lots and lots of hands-on learning. The wonderful thing about this is that we are able to bring in all of those literacy skills, math concepts, social studies, social emotional learning into these things that they're already curious about. So we're not sitting children down and saying, practice the letter A 75 times, but we can look up all the birds that start with the letter A and how do we find them in our field guides and start to learn about the properties of them. Just some examples of some hands-on place-based learning. So place-based learning is more about where we are in our environment, our ecosystem, the animals that live here, the plants that grow naturally, and the habitats that we have here, versus learning about the rainforest. We stick more to like woodland animals. So this is a really good example of the loose parts that you saw during the other video, where they're building structures from boards and tires and crates. They turn it into castles and forts and obstacle courses and all these beautiful things. 2 to 3, we do more of the play-based Waldorf approach with. It's much more open-ended. It's much more the child is leading and we're just kind of letting them go, answering questions, maybe going a little bit deeper. We like to be able to use real as we can, materials for them. So rakes that actually look like real rakes that an adult would use. Wheelbarrows that are child-sized but also look just like what an adult would use. Hammers, screwdrivers, of course with supervision, but we want them learning how to use these things safely. Then, when our students go from 4 to 5 into the pre-K group, we start to lean more into the Reggio Emilia project-based. So we're taking those skills that they learned at 2 and 3 through exploration, and we're starting to use that sustained attention to be able to have them do a deeper project. So Kevin worked with the students where they read a story about bridges, metaphorical aspects of bridges, and also the structural aspects of bridges. And they worked right alongside him using the tools to create that bridge for our creek. Another example of how we will bring in different materials here when we're observing birds, field animals, tracking, any of that stuff. An example of how we bring in math literacy here. Building community and print awareness. So with our younger students, we started by teaching them their names in print and their friends' names in print and playing with the letters of their names. So they're coming from a familiar place with it. A natural way of coming into weights and measurements. It is amazing. Kids are scientists. They are mathematicians. They love to see how heavy things are, how big they are, how fast they go, how slow they go. They naturally do this when given the opportunities to do this for themselves. That picture right in the middle, you'll see the students were very into animal tracks this year, so we were able to do a lot of work with them in both grade levels to not just learn about the animal itself, but use it to be able to bring in measuring and observation in the natural environment. More with the numerals and counting with loose parts. So in the younger grades, we will have invitations for this. So that bottom left corner, you'll see, if anyone has small children, they probably know the 5 Little Pumpkin song. Kids love the 5 Little Pumpkin song. So just opportunities for counting and using song and rhyme to be able to reinforce that at the 2- and 3-year-old level. And then at 4 and 5, again with the tracking, the photo on the side, they started using the blocks to measure who has the biggest feet, who has the biggest tracks, and they're being able to bring those math concepts into in a natural way. Project-based learning, researching and planning a community garden. Our older students are starting this project right now. They've worked a lot with seeds, they've learned a lot about plants, they've reaped the benefits of our garden from last year that was planted pretty much before we got there. And now they are planning and researching and finding the different types of plants they want to use and how they should plant them and how big of a space that they need. We will be doing wormeries with the children when we come back from April vacation. If you have children, or if you were a child once, you know kids love mud, and they love worms. So this is a wonderful opportunity. Bring in the literacy skills here, asking open-ended questions. What do you think? I wonder. What do you think is going to happen next? Then as we build the wormeries, we'll break it up into stages. So the kids are going to start to learn that first, next, then. And the whole time digging up and playing with worms, which that's just the whole point of childhood, isn't it? Just another example of how we try to get as deep as we can into that child-led subject matter that they're interested in. So one of the projects that we had this past fall was Mr. Kevin came in and planted bulbs with the children. The younger students were able to pick the shape that they wanted to dig it in. They helped him dig the holes. They had to figure out and measure how deep the holes had to be, because if you've ever planted tulips, you know if you don't do it at a right height or depth, they won't bloom. So now our older students are starting to see that they're blooming and they're growing, and what they're doing is they're going in and they're measuring and researching and tracking and figuring out how tall are they, and looking at the weather patterns, looking at which colors are growing, how different the leaves are, because they have that space to be able to take their time with it and sit and watch and observe. One of our biggest philosophies at Fernbrook is fine motor development, and we are not on top of our children checking their tripod grasp for their pencil, because we strongly believe that children should be doing lots of other fine motor activities before a pencil is ever forced in their hand. We are not just tracing letters over and over and over again. They are digging, they're pouring, they're climbing, they're in Play-Doh, they're squishing and pinching and twisting and doing all these really beautiful things with their hands that's getting them ready for those things when they're a little bit older. So, the benefits of Nature School, and how does this tie in to the interconnectedness of who we are and what we want to be in our world? And again, with Richard Louv, a growing body of research links our mental, physical, and spiritual health directly to our association with nature in positive ways. If children don't have the opportunity to experience nature in a way that they feel embraced, supported, loved, they're not going to then love nature in return. And then who's left? Who's left to take care of it when we aren't around anymore? Kids need to understand that they are a part of it just as much as it's a part of them. It helps to increase their self-confidence, resiliency, problem-solving skills, self-awareness, self-efficacy, independence, creativity, and concentration. We have seen such amazing things happen with our students over the past 2 years. They will come in the spring and they're excited to be there, and then the winter comes and they have to bundle up and they have all these layers on and boots and snow pants and gloves and hats, and they start to look like a little marshmallowy as they're running. Spring comes and the wheels are on, my friends. They are running and jumping, and they're so much faster than they were in the spring because they're building all that really important gross motor and muscle strength. They have space and time to just be. We're not saying you need to come and sit here and just sit and be and do this activity. They're invitations. Kids come to us who they are with what, and we help them with what they need, but there's no trying to change a child. We have children who come into an invitation to play first thing in the morning and they're ready. They're focused. They want to get right into it. We have other children who need to run hard for an hour and a half sometimes, back and forth, running, jumping, stomping, because they need to get that out of their body. That's how they learn best. And then they'll enter into something that's a little bit more engaging for them. There's more opportunities for social interactions because we don't have a very tight schedule. These are the different things that are out today, and we let kids kind of go where they feel naturally inclined to go to, that they're able to really see things all the way through. We're not micromanaging their social interactions. Higher engagement in activities, because when they're engaged in it, they're engaged in it. The statistic is it takes about 45 minutes for a young child under the age of 7 to get engaged in what they're doing. So if you only give them a half an hour of play, they're probably not getting as much from it if you gave them an hour and a half. Much less stressful. Our children are pretty chill. Lessened symptoms of ADHD and ADD. We've had a lot of students come to us and their parents had concerns that their former setting was just not conducive to their learning style. There was a lot of disciplinary and behavioral issues, and they found us, and it's a whole different world. These kids can run and play and jump and just be in nature and the sunlight and the fresh air, and they sit and attend when they're expected to sit and attend in a way that they just weren't doing before. Improved academics performance and indoor spaces, less indoor spaces, so we are not right on top of each other. Thanks for COVID. If you notice and you look at the statistics of outdoor schools after COVID, they shot through the roof because everyone's like, oh, I can actually send my kid to school because it's not closed because people can be outside. So, what are the challenges? It is not always sunshine and roses. It can be tough. It's not probably for every educator. It's probably not for every student, and that is okay. The weather can be challenging. It can be. It's cold. It's rainy. It's windy. When your body, you guys know, when your body gets cold and wet, it's really hard to warm up. So then that comes with a lot of gear. A lot of gear, the right amount of gear, making sure that it's on their bodies before they get cold and wet, not after they get cold and wet. Materials, we try to avoid plastic, but the wood will have a tendency to get mildewy, so some of the stuff that we use, we try to stay as natural to the environment as we possibly can. Sometimes we do have to go to plastic. Print environment, it can be difficult to maintain a strong print environment for the students because we are outside all the time. Paper blows away, we don't really want to be hanging things onto trees, so we try the best that we can to incorporate as much print as possible, but that definitely has been a concern of ours. Gear tolerance and intolerance, so helping kids get ready to use their gear, mittens on and off, helping them to learn how to do their mittens on and off. Winter, we found that it's really hard with our fine motor skills in winter because we're taking off their gloves, or they can't tolerate their gloves being off very long. So we really push a lot of the gross motor movement stuff for them. Toileting, diapering, same thing. Lots of different layers to navigate. And mud. Mud is so much fun. If you have enough mud on a zipper, it won't unzipper anymore. Just in case you were wondering. One of the biggest challenges is changing your perspective on the weather, because yes, it's beautiful out today, it's great. We're all so happy when we wake up, woo, sunshine. But what about those days when it's really rainy and it's really cold and you don't want to get out of bed? And it's hard. We've had a mindset for a very long time that certain weather is bad and certain weather is good. But when it rains and we have a lot of water, kids are learning so much from the water that is naturally provided to them in ways that if we could have come up with the greatest activity in the world for them, and they would have never learned it in the way that they're naturally learning it when it comes to them. One of the things that I think we as teachers have learned the most, because we all came from very structured learning environments, and we have learned to slow down. So if there's one thing, if you don't have young children in your life, that you can take from this today, slow it down. Change your perspective. Sitting low to the ground. It's amazing the things that are on the grass when you're actually sitting on the grass. Being able to take in nature in a way that there's no end goal to it. That's the biggest thing with our students. They're not taking anything from nature. They're just existing in their natural way, in a natural environment, and all of that learning just happens. So, is it hard? Yeah, it can be. But is it worth it? Absolutely, absolutely. Just some more wonderful photos of our children just loving school. So, thank you so much.
There we go. Thank you, Sarah, for your very, very inspirational and wonderful presentation. And now we will have our closing hymn, which, if you would join us in body and spirit to sing Blue Boat Home, number 1064, all verses.
Thank you.
And our closing words this morning are from Bella Blue. Sometimes we need to be like a little child and soak up the world with a silent wonder in our hearts. The kind of wonder that makes us pause long enough to receive life with a feeling of awe, how deeply connected we are to this immense and powerfully soothing natural world with every ounce of our being.
Please join me in our traditional words to extinguish our chalice.
But not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Thank you so much to our Green Sanctuary Committee and to our guest presenters. Our time of worship has ended. Our time of fellowship now begins. Please join us for coffee hour.
Sure.